Okay, everybody, welcome to the Community Redevelopment Agency regular meeting, Tuesday, June 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Can we please have a roll call? Clerk?
Chair Ryan,
Here.
Vice Chair Llewellyn,
Here.
Board Member Davis,
Here.
Board Member James,
Here.
Board Member Salvino,
Here.
Executive Director Chen,
Here.
City Attorney Boutsis.
Here.
Chair, you have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much.
Hope so.
Okay, getting to citizens' comments. We have a citizen comment. This is for this meeting, correct? Or no, this is for, okay. All right, so any citizens' comments out there for the CRA meeting? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the administrative report. Go ahead, Director Chen.
Thank you, Chair Ryan. In our innovation ecosystem, I'm continuing to work with Dan Marino Foundation, SCORE, and other agencies, partner agencies, to develop programs that we can bring here and collaborate on. And in fact, just yesterday, I talked with Broward College. They have an entrepreneurship program that they're very interested in working with us in some way as well. And their program, they offer a Broward College certificate for their program. So I will keep you up to date as we get the programming started. I'm also working with SCORE to develop our next couple of series of Dania Beach Business Academy programs so that we can get those on the calendar. I advised you that we are doing the CRA website. Basically, it is a rebuild of the site. And I put a lot of information in here. I'm not going to read it to you, but just to reflect on that, basically we started with the idea of identifying who our target audience will be. And we have a pretty wide range of audience that is everything from residents, businesses, out-of-town residents, people who are perhaps looking to locate into Dania Beach, businesses and, business real estate people, and site selectors are our primary target audience for this. We need to develop content so that we have things that is valid and useful to each of those types of audience. We're basically going through the entire website to totally restructure it so that it makes a lot more sense, reduce the number of clicks that you have to go do to navigate through it, as well as reduce the scroll down. I can't tell you how many times people tell me they can't find our annual report because on the page that it's at, you have to scroll down about 3 or 4 times to get to them. So we're redoing this in such a way that it will be a much more user-friendly site and doing a thoughtful process through the entire through the whole piece. In terms of the patch, we are doing more to publish our summer open hours. I have again run a quarter-page ad in the June Dania Beach Press. We have printed a sign to put on the fence. By the way, a copy of the sign and the ad that was run is in your binder. We're also working, it seems that there's a heightened awareness about risk avoidance and insurance issues and so forth that might be facing the city. So we're going through to make sure that the patch as a working farm is as safe and risk-free as we can. Things like tomorrow, for instance, we're putting the numbered locks on the porta potties so that there's not become places of refuge that people might hide in and that type of stuff. So we're doing a lot of things to enforce and to improve our risk levels as well as reduce risk and hazards to people who attend. And this will be an ongoing piece of our rebuild. Trying to make sure that we keep this safe for everyone. Frankly, our crops are, as we get into the summer, most of the crops don't do well in the summertime. We're at the tail end of our collards crop, and I understand that we're basically coming into eggplant season. We're working with a lot of different schools and other agencies to develop break programs, summer break programs. We're developing something that's called a summer break spot from June to August, working with the American Heart Association, Friends of the Library, and others. We're describing the patch as a place to beat the heat. We're also working with elementary schools, Collins and Atex middle school. And we're getting more and more volunteer groups from Spirit Airlines, Invitation Homes, both of those such generous benefactors recently. They now can't wait to send more and more volunteer groups to help us with the program. I did follow up on the suggestion from Board Member Salvino about reaching out to our active construction companies in Dania Beach to see if we can get some donated concrete blocks for our raised beds. I did send an email out advising them. I gave a description of the patch because I think a lot of them might not know what the patch is. We did not get any response back. We're presently in the process of finalizing a purchase order with Home Depot. We are also working to expand our nursery. Basically, we need to expand to 6 additional greenhouse tables to grow seedlings that can be transferred into the raised beds. With the additional 46 raised beds, we need a lot more seedling capacity than what we have today. So basically, we're right on pace for the renovation and rebuild project. And I expect we'll start seeing concrete blocks arriving probably next week or the week after. And with that, that concludes my admin report.
Okay, thank you, Director. Any questions about the admin report? All right. So for the consent agenda, we have the minutes to approve the May 14th, 2024 CRA Board meeting. Vice Chair?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Vice Chair.
Second.
I have a second from Board Member James. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. Minutes pass. We don't have any proposals and bids. So now to item 7.1 for discussion of possible action. We have Rebuilding Together Broward County Safe and Healthy Homes Program.
Okay. By the way, this is a follow-up from our budget workshop. I'm afraid there was more confusion than was necessary when we were discussing rebuilding homes and their safe and healthy home project. I did ask Robin to come, and I've had some follow-up conversations with him where we clarified the concept together. And I think that you'll find this to be a lot more cohesive description than what we had a week or so ago. So Robin, thank you.
Yes, and thank you, Commissioners, Chair, Vice Chair. I know many of you, we've been working together for a long time. We appreciate the partnership with Dania Beach and all of you. This conversation came out of really a few conversations with some of you separately, but also with Michael on how we can just improve the work that we're doing to extend beyond just area beautification, to share a little bit more of what we do as Rebuilding Together, not just in Dania Beach, of course, but all throughout Broward County. And throughout that conversation, there was can you share some information of what you do with other funders, other programs that we might be able to implement in Dania Beach to better serve our residents, not just in the CRA area, but all throughout the city. And so that's how this came up. This is not a formal presentation. This is really meant, in my understanding, to just be a conversation so that you better understand what we do, so that you can consider how to move forward and how to have a better relationship with us. I can provide more formal information, but I'm going to go through a couple things. So first off, and I don't know how long I have, so please, if I get too long, and I want to have the capacity for all of you to ask questions and for me to answer them. So if I go on too long, give me the nod of, okay, hurry up, because I'm passionate about it and I can talk a lot about it.
You're our last item. As long as you get us done before 7 o'clock, I think you're okay.
Give us money, we help people. Let's go. Oh, no, that's too short? Darn. Of course, well below 7 o'clock. I have a family too. to share with relationship, we've been working together for many, many years. We've worked on hundreds of homes throughout Dania Beach. You all know that. Many of you have come and painted and got dirty and helped. We've also identified that there's a lot of homeowners, not just in Dania Beach, but throughout Broward County. We have two things that are happening at the same time. We have an aging housing stock, and we have an aging population, an aging homeowners. And when you have both of those that come on, I mean, AJ and I joked earlier about insurance, that seniors who paid off their home don't keep insurance, they're on fixed incomes, they're not able to provide for the repairs that they might need, and it might be simple things. And I say simple, meaning that it's easy for us to do, but not that it's simple in their lives. When you add a grab bar in someone's shower, that's not simple. That helps them from falling down and being injured. So while it might be a minor repair in the terms of what we think of, for someone aging in place, it's a very important thing. And we've been doing this for 20 years. We have two bread and butter things that we do. We do safe homes, that's inside work. We do safe neighborhoods, that's outside work. We want to create and revitalize communities so that people feel safe in those communities, but we also go into homes and we identify repairs. They can be as minor as a grab bar, as major as fire damage or flooding, like happened in our community last year, that hopefully doesn't happen today. And that's what we've been doing for 50 years across the USA and for 20 years here in Broward County. We have multiple partners that we've worked with, so this isn't a new thing. I'm not sharing with you some idea that we want to start. We do this every single day throughout Broward County. We've done it with different partners. We work with the Area Agency on Aging to help people age in place. We worked with City of Hollywood to do very similar projects, the City of Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach. So over the years, some of them, I'm just going to be honest, are one-time things. We get a grant for 1 year, we do some homes, next year we have to apply again, we don't get them. Our relationship with you guys have been really consistent, where you've said we want to invest over years and years in our community. And I think that's the best way to do it, because we can impact more than just one home here, one home there. We work with code enforcement officers. City of Fort Lauderdale code enforcement officers have my email, send it to me. Dania Beach has also done that a couple times, where because they drive by, we have 30 people painting home, they're like, what's going on? And then they find out that we're able to help beyond the beautification program that you have, and we're able to serve and care for them. Some examples, recently, we've been able to get 2 ACs donated and put in to Dania Beach residents. Those are people that we found out about. We partnered with the Florida Panthers. They had a company that said they wanted to do something in the community. We were able to do that. We're installing a kitchen for someone whose home was flooded. So that's the work beyond what even you guys have so far funded. If a program like this, and I'm just going to say a program like this because no disrespect for anybody, you guys choose how to do this. If a program like this was funded, we could work on 25 to 30 homes over the course of a year with the money that we even recommended as a starter pilot, because on average, we have a couple different tiers. And just for the record, every home is unique, and every home is what we try to do. So we go into a home, we provide a health and safety inspection. We have a couple layers. On average, our average repair is $1,000 and below, because it's something, I hate using the word minor, because for that person it's not minor, but for us it's a minor repair. We do something very simply. And then there's a tier 2 when you move into another level, and in another level like that, in a funding relationship like this, we would work with Michael and we would talk about, is this something we can do? Can we bring in Home Depot? Can we bring in another partner so that the whole cost is manageable? And then there's, of course, tier 3, which is really when you talk about major repairs. And that's something in this scenario, Michael and I have talked about, because we've talked about this a few times, that in that scenario, we would go before you and we would say to you, we found this. And Mary or John, who's 82, or another person who's 91, this is what we found in their home and it's unsafe. Is this something this program could assist with? Is this something that we have to bring in other partners? How do we develop a course of action so that this homeowner is helped? And there's a lot of times, and I'm just going to be honest with you, when we tell people we can't help you, we just don't have funding for that. We have you on a list. Look, we all live in South Florida. Everyone needs a roof, everyone needs AC repairs, and everyone wants hurricane windows. Like, those are repairs we get asked a lot for, but that's not something that we normally do because it's so expensive. So this type of program, though, can be as restrictive or as flexible as possible depending upon the criteria that you set. And the criteria, just so you know, is homeowner occupied. A person who lives in that home, who's aging in that home. They're one of three things, and sometimes they're all three of them. They're 60 or older, which is the area agency definition on senior. So we can help a senior 60 and above. We can help a person living with a disability. That might be someone who's 25 and in a wheelchair and is now living with his mom as they're aging, and no longer can she help that person utilize the restroom, live with dignity. We've helped people who literally hadn't used, they had to use a colostomy bag. They didn't use the toilet for 5 years because they're too big and their mom couldn't help them. And so a person with disability doesn't have an age requirement. It has a, what can we do to help you live in that place, make it ADA compliant, make it safe. We also have a good component where we help veterans, and that's because we have partners that love to serve people who served our country. And so people like Home Depot, Wells Fargo, they'll have specific money and dollars for veterans. So those are the three people that we serve, but all of them are homeowners. Now, I reserve the right to say we do help a small number of renters, but we always partner with the landlord to ensure that it's okay to add a grab bar, do something very minor so that they can live there, because, I mean, a landlord doesn't have to provide a grab bar because they have a senior living there. So there are times, so you can hold me accountable, that we have helped renters. It's just very rare. And again, it's always funding dependent because we try to tap into the interests and priorities of the communities that we're serving. So I'm looking to you to help me understand, as we look at expanding what we do, to get your priorities. What do you want to focus on so that your residents are better served, can live in place, can age in place, can keep affordable housing so that they don't have to move, they don't have to sell, they don't have to, like we joked earlier, have a reverse mortgage just so that they can fix a plumbing issue that might only be $3,000, which we could provide in not just this program, but this program matched with other programs that we have. So the mix of homes that we were asking, the mix of homes that we would serve are not just the beautification clients. Those are clients that obviously we're already helping them. We would expose them, and we already have a wait list of 100-something homes that we've worked on to see what additional needs they might have. But it's all Dania Beach residents up to what you decide is what you'd like us to serve. So if it's directly CRA, obviously that's fine. But this type of program, because it's a program we already offer every single day, we work on over 350 homes every single year, some with just paint and landscape, some with just safe and healthy home repairs. It could be $500 worth of work, could be $5,000 worth of work, depending upon what they need and what the funders give. So it's a blend. And that becomes up to you, working directly with all of you in the contract stuff, but also working directly with Michael to see the types of projects you are most excited about providing for the homeowners so that they can have a safe place to live in. I can continue talking for a long time because I care about this. I tell everybody, as I jokingly, it's a honey-do list. It's, honey, what do I need you to do in the home? And that's what we go in and we do, but our focus is health and safety. So we're not just replacing people's kitchens because they like a newer one, because their kitchen is from the 60s. We go in and we identify the types of repairs they need. But because we are a private nonprofit, and I say this a lot of times to cities because it's hard to say no to constituents, we provide the buffer to say to people, we don't have funding for that. We would love to do that. And if we get funding for that, we will come back. But this is what we can do. Because we go into a home and we identify first all of the things they need, and then we let them tell us the things that they want. And then from the need list, we tell them the things that we're able to provide. And no person is a one-time consumer as long as we have funding. We go back and we do as much as we can. It's first and foremost very straightforward, simple home safety items. It's, do they have smoke detectors? Do they have GFIs in the kitchen and in the bathroom? Do they have a fire extinguisher? Do they have grab bars? Do they have a safety chair? Do they need a high-rise toilet because now they're aging and they can't use it? Like, there's some baseline things that we do. Do they have lighting? Outside, inside? Do they have safety lighting on the outside so that we can ensure that their home not just is lit, but is a deterrent for crime and things like that so that we can build? Those are all like the baseline things that we do with every home that we provide services for. The only problem we have is we don't have enough money to serve all of the people who need help. And that's why we would come to you and talk to you and ask, maybe we can extend the beautification program from just the outside to also providing services inside for those residents, seniors, veterans, people with disabilities that might need additional help. So as we move forward, and again, I'm not leaving, I'm open for 100 questions, but as we move forward, we would really appreciate any review of how we can extend this program to serving people in those home safe and healthy concerns that they might have. So appreciate the time. Thank you very much. And now I'll give it back to Sir Chair if you have any questions or concerns.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Robin. I'm sure we have some questions for you. Start with Board Member James.
Hi, Robin. So, I've kind of been through this process with you for a very long time. You've been here, and thank you so much for everything that you've done and the hard work and getting out there and with the elbow grease.
Thank you.
Can you differentiate between tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 at a cost of what that would be? I know you said tier 1 is like $1,000 or so.
Yeah.
And
Great question. Do you want me to answer it real quick?
absolutely.
Yeah, great question. So generally speaking, and this works with multiple funders and different people like that, like the Area Agency on Aging, they fund very specific parts. I would argue tier 1 is like 1,000 and below. Anything that we can get in, do quickly, improve their home, we would hope that you would say, yes, it's approved. Anything above that, 2,000 to maybe 4,000, 5,000, that next level where you need someone it's a higher labor cost, it's a higher material cost. And so that would be that 2 to 5. Anything above 5 is when we need to bring in a professional. We need to bring in a licensed electrician, we need to bring in a plumber. So it's beyond what we can provide because our work is focused on handyman, minor home repairs. So if we had to bring in an electrician, then we would come back. And again, it doesn't have to be a part of this contract, but it's an option that if you wanted to say, if we found someone who was a senior who was living in a home and they had serious electrical problems or they had serious plumbing issues and none of the bathrooms work, which we find, then we would come back and we would share. First, I would share with Michael, here's the work scope, here's what we've identified. And he might say, we're not going to do that. That's a whole can of worms. Or he might say, let's go before the commission, let's go before the CRA board and see what their thoughts are. And so those would be the 3 kind of layers. Again, it goes from semi-skilled minor home repairs all the way up to licensed
Contractors.
professionals and contractors.
Sure.
Yeah. And just so that you know, we do all of that. We do roofs, we do windows, we do whatever the funding allows us, we can do. So it's really up to what you all are,
No, no, no.
the amount of resources that you want to put into and the types of repairs that you want to provide to your residents.
Sure.
My initial goal is minor. Let's start with minor. Let's prove it. Let's help some people. And then we can see in the future as case by case happens. So, sorry.
Okay.
Again,
No.
Commissioner James, I can talk a lot, so you
No,
can cut me off.
we all can too. We're all in the same. You're in good company. Um, I wish we'd known about residents who, and that could be a great asset or tool for you as well to see if any programs that the city has because, excuse me, I heard you say roof. I heard you say impact windows and doors. I know that we have spent over $1 million in grants, especially for the demographics that you serve. And if they are, and I know some people that absolutely pay $0 out of pocket to be able to either get a new roof, impact windows, other qualifiable type of, services from licensed contractors that was already on an approved list. We don't have that anymore. And all of that will probably go beyond the scope, if I'm being honest, of anything that I'm comfortable with supporting for a resident. For clarification, did you say that you were going to go back through the list of who you've already served to provide additional services to?
We would, so we have a wait list already of moving forward. What I am trying to share is that just because someone's home was painted, we wouldn't not provide these types of services if we found that they were in need. The, the reality is we have over 250 people in Broward County right now on our wait list, calling us every day asking. So if we got funding in partnership with you, then we could prioritize and lift up your residents because we have funding. Like
All right.
that's part of, and what we would not do is never not help someone just because we helped them with the beautification program. But we already have a list of 100 and something people that we've served that we could begin to screen so that even if they don't know that we offer this, they will know that we offer this now. And that we would have, in theory, we would have dedicated funding to help them versus having them wait on a wait list for another program that we might have. Home Depot gives us $100,000 in gift cards every single year. Prioritize veterans, but they also want to help community, and so we're able to layer it. But when we do that, they have no priority of where or when or how. And so we try to do what we call a prioritized wait list. So if this emergency is when you measure health and safety, if it's worse than this priority, then we try to put that person first. But then if we have funding from specific cities, for specific partners, then we're able to move it around and help different people. And, AJ's in real estate and stuff like that, so you can understand. We're like a construction company. You give us more money, we can help more people. We can scale up as large as
Right.
we need because
So-
we're only dependent upon the resources we get.
So the part that I guess that I'm having trouble with is, I deal with a lot of seniors as well in their situations, and I know that when they're older, either their kids or their family are negligent in properly providing that
Yep.
quality living and safe haven for those adults, and they end up either signing quick claim deeds or just letting the property go after the person passes. What I don't want to happen, and what precedent I don't want to set, is they know that we have additional services and they don't handle what grandma or auntie or cousin needs because
Yeah.
they know that it's a pocket of money over here. So I don't know how to keep them accountable But you also can't tell, I can't go and say, since your son won't do it for you, we're going to just let you live like this or with those things. So that is one of the troubles that I'm having with how to facilitate it, number one. Number two, I would prefer, if we are going to go down this route, just my opinion, is to put a cap at what we are comfortable spending per house, because if you'll knock on every single door and every single person is going to have some issues. I can tell you that right now, especially in certain communities.
Yeah.
But put a cap on that and then just give a contingency, and then you could manage it how you see fit. If we give a pot of money and you spend it all on one home, but if you know that, but if you, I know you're not going to do that. I'll put that on the record.
That's an extreme.
I put that, but I'm just saying, like, if it's something that's very, like, tugs at your heart, these are situations I'm sure you're in all the time. And then if you have this pot of money, it'll be up to you to try and, I don't know, manage it to where you feel like, you know what, we have $5,000, $10,000, and we can afford to give $1,000 max per person. And if we don't use anything for this house, we can use a little extra for that house, or manage it whatever way you see fit. I don't want to micromanage the process, but I also, as a policyholder, want to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible. And so I am okay, just to the rest of the board, choosing a certain amount, a not to exceed amount per home of the extra funds, and then having as a contingency, but having a max on that. Thank you.
I want to just echo, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I don't disagree on that. And there are times when we've gone into homes and I was literally disappointed in the way the family was managing the entire home, with the senior that's sitting there in a chair, barely mobile, can barely talk. And I want you to know that that is why we screen and we assess and we visit the home. We never promise anything, ever. Because I can't promise. I don't know. We open that wall. I don't know what I'm going to find behind that wall. So we always have to take one step at a time with the repairs that we do. And we don't just walk around and advertise that we've got a pot of money. We always advertise that we're a tiny nonprofit doing the best that we can to help as many people as we possibly can, so that people will understand that this is a service that they don't just rightfully deserve and need, and because the city's giving money, you have to give it to us. There are so many people in our community that are in need. And so we try to respectfully identify those people that need the most help. And when we can do minor things, like a grab bar, not a problem. I get it. Your family doesn't want to pay for a grab, whatever. That's an easy fix. But when it starts getting into significant dollars, we ask more questions. And we always do. Who's on the deed? Do they own the home? Do they have a reverse mortgage? Do they have any of those things? Do they have liens on their homes? There's times when we don't bother doing that because it's so minor. We just want to help the homeowner. We were there. We saw it. But then obviously after certain thresholds, we're like, we cannot invest. And we've invested $15,000, $20,000 in homes. We've actually had homes that we've invested close to $100,000 in, because that's what happened. There was a hurricane and Irma happened, and we had companies that came forward and said, we want to help. But on average, we're talking 500 to 1,500. Every once in a while, it bumps up to 3,000. We've done a lot of appliance replacements for seniors because their stuff, we're doing it right now. We're giving someone a new fridge. She's got a chair pushed up against her fridge to keep it from opening, and her stove has one burner that's working. Like, those are the types of scenarios that we run into, that we also try to partner. And this funding doesn't have to go to that because we have other funding, but I'm trying to give you kind of a picture.
Oh, Robin, I have a question, actually. Has there ever been a case where somebody, needs the work, but they do have insurance, and you're like, hey, you have insurance, you could
Yep.
make a claim? Okay, so that's happened a lot, right?
100%.
Okay, that's all right.
The flood,
Yeah.
I needed paperwork. I need to see paperwork of what your flood insurance stated. What did they give you? I've got lawyers that we've worked with, that we've referred people to.
That's a big service.
You need to look at that first. So yes, of course. Now, if it's something simple and minor, I mean, insurance, right? They delay, they
Yeah,
deny,
yeah.
they underpay.
But I'm just saying, you're helping them overall. You know,
Yes.
and you're helping them navigate the waters the best they
Yes.
can. And if they have the right resources, you show them, hey, you know, you can make an insurance claim on this because we had a storm. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Commissioner Davis? I'm Board Member Davis.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Robin. Most of the questions have been asked here, and I want to thank you for coming and clarifying, because I think we were kind of projecting on to what you guys could and couldn't do at the last meeting, and having you here really truly makes a difference as far as the depth and scope of what you're able to provide to our residents. But basically, I'm interested in, I was interested in the tiers, but looking at this as an additional $50,000 on top of the budget that we had proposed with you previously. And I'm really interested in making sure that the basic needs of the residents are attended to first or prioritized at that tier one level, and to get to as many residents as we can, and at whatever that 1,000 and under, or whatever it is, the 1,300 or whatever, the first tier, then second tier, where you don't necessarily have to come back to us for major repairs, but to get to as many residents as possible, just so that we're able to have that win, they're able to have that win. Things like the grab bars and things like that that you mentioned, I think are very important. That helps their quality of life, but it's something that doesn't really take a lot away from us. So with that, the rest of the questions have been pretty much answered, but as far as priorities are concerned, I wanted to see that, I think it was a misconception that there was going to be like $5,000 and we were only going to be able to help like 10 homes, which now it seems like if we were able to do that at the tier one, tier two level, then we could at least help at least 25, 30 homes, or possibly more. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's all I wanted to know, but thank you so much for coming and clarifying all of that information.
All right. Thank you, Board Member Davis. Vice Chair?
Yes, so I'm just looking, the backup does say $50,000 to complete 10 homes. But that's not what we're saying here.
Right.
That was kind of a misproposed language in their presentation to us. Robin and I have had several discussions since. It is not intended to be an average of $5,000 per home.
Okay, so it's intended to be more homes or less money?
More homes for less money.
We could do one or the other.
Well, basically, let me clarify. Tonight, we don't have a contract for you to approve. I'm looking for direction to add this as a line item to my budget for 2025. And if you do, I will bring back a contract that specifies all the tiers, all the limits, all the thresholds in crystal clear language so that you understand. I would like to propose that we start this as a pilot program for $50,000, but we will bring you specific terms in a contract so that you'll see that it's likely it would serve more like 25 to 30 homes as opposed to just 10. And in fact, there would be an upper boundary that absolutely requires your approval to move forward on it. I mean, we would set that as well.
I'm interested in, I'm wondering if we want to do that much for a pilot program. Or we want to try it out with fewer homes in the beginning and just see how it works, and then see if we want to go from there. Because I remember a few years back, I remember you all doing appliances and stuff for, I think it was veterans.
We do it for everybody all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did that actually, you guys, we did all of the appliances for the new homes that you constructed on one street. You did 5 homes, and we were able to bring Home Depot and did appliances for all of them, so that when the people moved in, they had new appliances.
Right.
I forget exactly what that was called.
That was the at-home, project.
Oh, the at home.
Yeah.
And let me just add to clarify, we can do $300 worth of work in a home. We can do $300,000 worth of work in a home.
We're not going to do $300,000.
I know that.
Okay.
And I'm using those numbers just for reality. No, just for reality. This is meant to be, we're talking with you about what you would like to see be done in your community. So Hollywood has a program where they go up to $40,000 a home. but their focus is home hardening, roofs and windows. This focus is home safety, completely different thing. And so at a $5,000 level that we initially just shared as our general proposal is we can do more in a home with $5,000 than we can 1,000. But we need to understand what you want to accomplish. And if you want to help more people with home safety things, and then we try to add on, like we continue to add on, like a free AC, those two ACs are worth $30,000.
Sure. No,
Like
absolutely.
and thank God we got a company to do it completely for free. So that's the type of thing that we want to do. And when you offer us a partnership that adds flexibility so that I can have communication, nothing done without communication, always done within parameters, here's the level,
Right.
then we might be able to fluctuate, because when we open a door to a person's home, there's a story behind that door.
Well, and let's say, for example, like you said about you don't know what happens if you take down a wall, what you're going to find back there. What does happen when that happens?
Well, we're a small nonprofit. We can tell them we can't continue.
Yeah.
We can tell them,
You have to go back and fix it.
huh?
You have to go back and fix whatever you did.
So
Right.
we generally do that 100%, yes. I mean, just like the homes we beautify, we always go back. But there are times where we've had to tell people, this is a bigger project than we knew, and no, we're not going to come back. We had a family that had a bed bug infestation. We said, I'm sorry, I can't send our guys back until you get that fixed. We have funding to do these things, but we don't have funding to handle a bed bug infestation in your home. And if you know anything about that,
Yep.
it's rough. That's a really hard thing to get rid of. So yes, we've had to tell people, and that's why I said earlier, we never promise. We always say this is the best that we can do, and we don't sign them up for government programs. This is a nonprofit. We have multiple funding sources. We leverage all of the funding sources that we have, in kind, gift cards, cash, forgivable loans in some cases, to help the person the best that we can. Yeah, so
Michael, I'd like to see you come back with something, but that we could then discuss further as far as what we want. I'd definitely like to see a not to exceed clause.
We can certainly do that, and that was the intention. I'm just looking for direction that allows me to kind of consider it for the budget.
I'm not sure about. Probably somewhere in the range of 3,000, I would say. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Board Member Davis?
Just real quick, you did say that this program could extend outside of the CRA into the city where it was just not within the CRA boundaries, or,
So I will tell you that our program, what we already do, because this is an enhancement of what we do, is all of Broward County. So we help all of Dania Beach residents as we can. We help all of Broward County residents as we can. You, in this funding and this contract, can determine what we do. So I don't know, because it's a CRA, if it has to be CRA only. And if it does, then that's fine. We'll still offer the same services through other partners to any Dania Beach resident. But if this funding is only required, or is only specified for CRA residents, then we would only do CRA residents with this funding. So we're very aware of all of the restrictions of those types
and
of
we
things.
have
so-
enough need within the CRA?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
Let
All
me
right, I just wanted to
clarify.
clarify the scope. Thank you.
With the relationship we have with Robin and Rebuilding Together, all of the houses they do for us that they get paid by the CRA are within the boundaries of the CRA. Every single one of them.
Thanks, Michael. Board Member James?
Yes, I know we probably need to wrap this up because it's 6:45, but I did want to just say, just so we can provide some type of direction, I don't know, I would like to see what, at that $3,000 level, what that looks like. Maybe afterwards, when you bring whatever back, if we have consensus for the 3,000, we could bring that back and then discuss how many homes we want to do at that level. So I'm not sure if we have consensus on that, but you'll have two right now, just to bring that back and try to move something forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Salvino?
Yes, thank you. I was on a track of that, but I was thinking more like, I like the idea of doing more more homes. I thought that maybe we could, do $1,500 as a maximum with maybe 5 exceptional homes that, maybe a limit, like there's 5 that have to put 3,000 into it. And that way, because if every home, I could tell you almost every home will need $3,000 worth. And in most cases, I mean, even if you buy an appliance or something like that, it's gone. But I think if we can help if you're going to do something, I would just like to see, my opinion would be to have it at $1,500 and then have maybe 5 exceptional homes and allow the $3,000 up to that point. That gives, he run into that situation. Once they evaluate, they know they got $1,500 to spend on it, they can spend that money. If they have that come up to home, they say, this really needs to spend $3,000, well, pick it. You got 5 to choose from, this would be it. And that way you're limiting the amount of homes you're doing, and they have a choice. I mean, that's just my suggestion, but, you can bring it back. It gives you an option to do more homes that way.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Board Member Salvino. I wanted to see if we do an allowance of the different tiers, right? So we say, look, well, we could do 2 or 3 tier 3s, but we could do 20 tier 1s, we could do, 10, 15 tier 2s. We could open up for that, and then, certain ones have to come for our approval when it gets to a certain number amount. But I like everything that I'm hearing. It looks like the board's liking it as well. And we have a great relationship with Rebuilding Together. You guys have done a fantastic job. You have the experience, you have the knowledge of our neighborhood, and you have the resources and the contacts in our community as well. If you ask me, I would like to increase the budget for this program and for our exterior Rebuilding Together as well. I think you guys have proven yourselves in our community, and if we want to do more homes, then we can increase the budget to fix up and improve more homes. And yeah, I like the approval of the tiers in a certain limit, but we can just break that number down. It's not like they have to come to us for every little home that they're going to do. Yeah, we can provide guidelines, but yeah, I would like the board to also consider possibly increasing the funding for this, because I'm all for it. And like I said, it's not like Robin's just some new guy walking into the city. This is a relationship that we've had for a long time, and it's a good program, and it's something that our residents immediately see that the CRA gives back to them. And it gets noticed throughout the community. Everybody still talks about some of the houses that have been redone, and we're looking forward to more this year.
That's great. Thank you.
All right. What would I increase the funding to? I would increase to 100,000. I would double it up. Yeah. 50 is what they're requesting. For the homes, the homes is what we're at.
For the Rebuilding Together home beautification, it's 120,000
120.
for 40 houses.
For 40 houses.
Yes. This is an additional supplement to that. We've suggested 50,000 if you're comfortable with that. Again, clearly we need to target, we would structure something that would generate more houses rather than a few.
You guys have the manpower for it.
I want to, sometimes it's hard to get scale. Our annual budget is $1.3 to $1.5 million, and we work on over 350, sometimes 400 homes every single year. So if you wanted to add an additional 50, if you wanted to add a bunch more, we're scalable to do that, and we will help Dania Beach residents with that resources. So I want you to know that we do have the capacity, but it's also on your focus of the dollars, and every pot is, you cut a slice in the pie, I understand that. But if you wanted to do additional homes, we are willing and able and capable to do additional homes.
Okay. All right. Thank
Done?
you, everybody. Thank you, Robin. Good meeting. See you at 7 o'clock. Meeting adjourned. Oh. No comments. We're good. Yeah, we're done. No, we're good. We're done.
We're all done.
I don't think anybody's going to comment anyways.